Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Nick Dunning, and welcome to the 5 Minute Actor, the podcast. You can write to me anytime at nick@nickdunning.com. And actually, I'm going to be going away for 2 weeks at the moment. So, what I'd love to, if you've got any questions, write them in and send them over to me now here at nick@nickdunning.com, and I'll answer them when I come back in a little while. So, just to point out the site, wherever you need to come to the site, this is where we live here. Okay, so this episode is all about this particular thing which we are going to call how to handle your brain when it's panicking wildly and going completely mad. This is what happened to me last night. Okay, so now a lot of you may not know that what I'm doing at the moment is I'm doing a show in town in Dublin at the Abbey Theatre called Audrey or Sorrow, and we're closing up this week. And usually I like to be at the theatre at least at 6:30 for a 7:30 show. That's pretty what I would like to do. Yesterday, what happened was I ended up arriving at the theatre at 7:40, 10 minutes after the time we were supposed to start. And I'll tell you exactly how that happened. So, what I do is, as I say, I like to be at the theatre in good time. So, I was on my train knowing that if I miss my train, this is how I'm kind of like disciplined about things. I kind of say to myself, okay, I want to get this train. And if I miss that, I know there'll always be another train that will get me in on time. So, I'm on the train. We're starting to move into town. I live about an hour out. So, I'm leaving it with enough time. And then suddenly the train starts to slow down. And as it slows down, I'm thinking, it's okay, this happens a lot. Yep, la-di-da. And we keep on moving and gradually inching. And then I'm beginning to think, why are we inching forward? We don't seem to be stopping or moving. And by this time now, my brain's starting to think, oh, this is not very nice. I'm not very happy with this. What's going on? So I start looking on my phone. I start checking it out, see what's happening. Turns out there's a major problem. There's been a big crash on the M50, which is a big, for those of you who are not from Dublin, it's a big sort of the big ring road that goes around the whole of Dublin. And of course, everyone's getting ready to go away for Easter, so there's all of that. There's a big crash on the M50. There's another crash on the Strand Road, which is the big road down into town as well. So I'm starting to get a little bit concerned, but I'm still feeling okay, not too bad. So as we move along, I get to what's known as the Merrion Gates. I look out, which is a sort of a well-known place in Dublin, and you can look out. It's a big sort of railway junction, and I can see the guards, the police are actually sort of loads of them are parked outside. There's yellow high-vis jackets. There's blue lights flashing. I'm in an episode or something. I don't know what's going on, but it's one of those, and it's getting dark now. And I'm also feeling a bit stuck, like we're not moving forward at all. So now I think, okay, what's going down? We're about still 20 minutes away from Dublin, so it's not looking great. So I decide, okay, let's see what else is happening. I know I've got to do something. The train is not moving. I've got to get off if I can get off. We now move along to what's known as Sydney Parade. I get off at Sydney Parade and I start looking, okay, I'll get a taxi. I'll use modern technology, get my taxi app, put in no, it wouldn't pick up, it wouldn't actually take on board what it was where I was, Sydney Parade Dart Station. It just wouldn't show up. I don't know why. Maybe I was panicking. I don't know what was happening, but it wasn't showing up. So now I'm getting, this is not so great. So what I do is I go, all right, I know what we're going to do. I'm going to call the company. I've got to tell them it's now 7 o'clock. And I'm thinking, this is not good. And we're going to talk to them. So I'm starting to talk to them, and they are now helping me. They say, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to send you a cab. So they send me a cab, and they send me a pin. So I've got the pin on my phone. The pin's telling me the cab's coming, and you can watch the fact. Isn't it great? Oh, fantastic. I can watch the cab coming. And then he turns around and goes away because he cancels. And he just disappears. It's now 7:10. Now what's going on? I ring back to the theatre, tell them there's another problem. They send me another cab. And this time the guy says, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to pay them extra money so that they won't cancel. And he cancels. And now I don't know where I am. I'm in the middle of somewhere in Dublin. I don't know where I am. I'm looking around and I'm now starting to see all the effects of everything. The guards are everywhere still down here. There's all kinds of yellow vis jackets around again, flashing lights happening, ambulances. Everything's kicking off. I don't know what's happening at all. Now I'm thinking it's getting late. I've got to get into town. What's going to happen? I'm looking around for a cab. 3 cabs go past with their lights on and just don't stop. No idea why, but they don't stop. Eventually, I get hold of a cab and I get this guy and I say, listen, please take me to the theatre as quick as you possibly can. I said, darling, the show must go on, right? This is where I'm going. And now I start to realize, and now I'm panicking. Brian is just saying, yes, that was terribly stressful. You're absolutely right. So now I'm thinking, oh, this is really not good, right? So now we're getting closer and closer towards the town. Eventually, I ring the guy and I say, okay, I'm 5 minutes away. And he says, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to stop the car. And so we're going to talk to the audience. We'll tell them, we'll hold the curtain and just tell them there's been all these car, problems on the M50 and various things like this. So what they do is they calm the audience and they get to figure out what's happening. And then I'm in the car and now I'm starting to feel panicky. And now I think what I've got to do is I've got to get myself into a state where I can be okay for when I eventually do get there. The audience is taken care of. We know that's okay. The theatre know. Everybody else knows. It's just me. Now I'm kind of stressing like mad. My brain is going. So I go, okay, what is it that I always coach myself and other people to do? So I go, why don't you do it for yourself, Nick, and see what happens? So the first thing I do is I try and center myself. And this is an exercise that you can do in any state, whatever you want to do. And if you're feeling very sort of stressed like I was, you notice where all your emotional center is. My center was up here. And what you do is you literally just count yourself down, counting 5. And you click a finger each time. This is an NLP thing, which deepens your centering and makes it better. And it just goes like this. And if you want to try it out, you can check this out with me now. So wherever your emotional center is, just give yourself the count of 5, 4, drop it down, 3, drop it down, 2, drop it down, 1, drop it down, and drop it down into your center, your hara, which is roughly, it's like where the button is on a pair of jeans, round there, okay, inside your belly button. And as soon as you start to get centered, it drops your energy down into here, which takes you out of your head and stops all this panicking going on in your brain. So now you're slowing yourself down. Now you realize what you need to do. I realized what I needed to do was to take 3 breaths. And this is another thing you can do. Breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth to the sound ha. And you can feel your body starting to center and starting to calm. And what we're doing on a neuroscientific level, what we're doing is we're talking to the amygdala, which is the part of the brain that's the fight or flight or freeze bit. And we're saying, chill out, baby. It's okay. There are no tigers coming to get you. You're all right. You're going to be okay. And as you start to calm down inside with your breathing, it starts to center you more and more. And you can repeat the 5 if you need to do that, just clicking down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 3 breaths again. Brian just says he's totally relaxed doing this now. Isn't that great? Right? That's exactly what happens to you. And it's what happened to me. And so it meant that when I arrived at the theatre, I was completely calm. I went in, my costumes were laid out, put them straight on, bit of makeup, went on, and everything was fine. Now, the only thing I think that's useful to know about this, and I talk about this quite a lot in sort of the coaching stuff I do, is that, thanks, no, you're welcome, Brian. Pleasure. I'm just hoping that this is a kind of like one of those, an example where I'm trying to share how this works so that you can feel that. And what it does is it literally gives you that sort of sense of power back. So you feel all right. And as soon as I was calm, we started the show and it was great. what happens with the brain, what goes on is that the whole brain starts kind of like, you start imagining everything going wrong. I started to see, I was panicking about the audience, my fellow actors, everybody. Are they going to hate me? What's going to happen? Are they going to, I can't let people down, that awful feeling of, what was going to happen. And of course, all of that is just fear. And what fear is literally just chemicals released in your body. And we know now, neuroscientifically, we know that fear and excitement are exactly the same thing. They've done all these extraordinary kind of tests, and they know that whether you've got fear in your body or if you've got excitement in your body, on a CT scan, you can see this itself. You can literally see that they are the same bits and pieces of chemicals moving around. There's no difference whatsoever. The only difference is what we call them. Oh, I'm fearful. Oh, I'm excited. So if you can take charge of all your chemicals, you can slow things down. And that is how you can do it. And if you'd like to learn a bit more about that stuff, pop over to the site, and there's all kinds of free giveaways there now. I've created the whole site now, so it's virtually 90% of freebie stuff, so that everything in there that's there for you, come along and you'll learn all sorts of new things. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you very much for listening, and I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks' time. Any questions, drop them over to me at nick@nickdunning.com. And just to notice that now you can get this podcast, you can get this live when I'm doing it now, but it's also going to be available on YouTube visually, so you can follow it. And it's now on Apple Podcasts as well, and it's also on Spotify. So wherever you get your podcasts, that could be the good place to go. Thanks a lot, guys, and take care. I'll see you all very, very soon. Take care, guys. Bye now.